the snowman didn't stay put. I moved back to my childhood home in late November, a few weeks after my mother passed, because the house needed sorting, and I didn't have the heart to leave it empty through winter. It sat high in the hills, farther up than most folks bothered with anymore. The kind of place that only made sense if you'd grown up there. The road narrowed as it climbed, asphalt turning to cracked pavement, then gravel, then little more than packed dirt. By the time you reached the house, the woods pressed in close enough that it felt like they were listening. The house itself hadn't changed much. Same low roof, same warped porch boards, same smell of old wood and dust inside. My mother had lived there alone for years after my father died, stubborn as the hills themselves. I told myself I was there to pack things up and get it ready to sell. But really, I think I just needed somewhere quiet enough to let the grief settle without anyone asking questions. December came in hard that year. The first snowstorm dropped heavy, wet snow that clung to everything, bending branches low and swallowing sound. By morning, the world looked sealed off. No tire tracks on the road, no footprints in the yard, just white, stretching out to the trees. That was when I saw the snowman. It stood near the tree line, off to the right side of the yard, where the slope dipped down toward a stand of thick pines. It wasn't tall, maybe 5 feet at most, and it wasn't well made. The sections didn't line up evenly, and the arms were just short sticks jammed in at odd angle. 2 dark stones had been pressed into the top lump for eyes. No mouth, no hat. It looked unfinished, abandoned halfway through. I stood on the porch for a long time, staring at it, my breath fogging the air. I hadn't built it. I knew that. I hadn't seen anyone else either, but I told myself maybe some local kids had wandered up. It wasn't likely. The nearest house was over a mile away, but it was easier than any other explanation. What bothered me more was the snow around it. There were no clear footprints, no path leading to or from it. Just churned snow at its base, like someone had brushed the ground smooth with their hands. I didn't touch it. I don't know why. I went back inside, made coffee, and tried to forget about it. That night, the house felt different. Snow changes sound, muffles it, presses everything down. Inside, the quiet was thick enough to feel. I went to bed early, worn out from the cold and the work of the day. Sometime after midnight, I woke up. At first, I didn't know why. Then I heard it, a soft, distant crunch. Not a step exactly, more like pressure. Snow being compressed slowly, deliberately. I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening. The sound came again, closer this time, then stopped. I waited for it to continue, for footsteps, for anything that would make sense. Nothing came. In the morning, I checked the yard. The snowman was closer. Not much, maybe 3 or 4 feet closer to the house. But it was unmistakable. The distance between it and the tree line had shortened. I walked around it, heart beating harder than it should have. Again, no footprints, just disturbed snow beneath it, smoothed out like before. I spent that day uneasy, jumping at small sounds. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it had slumped overnight. Maybe my memory of where it stood was off. Grief does strange things to perception. That night, I slept on the couch. Pause. Sometime after midnight, the sound came again. Closer now. The same slow compression, like weight settling into snow. I held my breath, listening. The sound stopped just outside the living room window. I didn't look. In the morning, the snowman stood halfway across the yard. I felt sick then. There was no denying it anymore. It was moving. Slowly, night by night, always closer. I grabbed my coat and boots and went outside, circling it carefully. That was when I noticed the marks. Long, shallow drag lines beneath it, faint but unmistakable. Like someone pulling themselves forward, using their arms, smoothing the snow behind them as they went. I went back inside and locked the door. The third night, I didn't sleep at all. I sat with the lights on, the old shotgun my father had kept, leaning against the wall beside me. I listened to the house creak and settle. I listened to the wind in the trees. Just after midnight, the sound came again. This time, it was closer than ever. Right outside the porch, I heard breathing, low, ragged, like someone trying to stay quiet, but failing. I stayed where I was, muscles locked, heart pounding so hard I thought it might give me away. After a long while, the sound faded. No footsteps retreating, just silence. In the morning, the snowman stood at the bottom of the porch steps. I didn't go outside that day. By then, fear had settled deep into me. The kind that doesn't spike and fade, but stays constant, heavy. I started noticing other things. The way the woods seemed too still. The way the house felt watched when night came. I remembered things from my childhood. Stories my mother used to tell when the power went out. Warnings about people who lived out past the edges of town, who didn't come down once winter set in. On the fourth night, I heard scratching on the porch boards. Slow, careful. I sat in the hallway with the shotgun across my lap, staring at the front door. The scratching stopped, replaced by that breathing again. Closer now, right on the other side of the door. I didn't move. I didn't speak. When morning came, the snowman was gone. For a moment, relief flooded me. Then I noticed the shape on the porch. A mound of snow pressed up against the door, uneven, slumped, as if it had been piled there. Deliberately embedded in it were the same dark stones I'd seen before, set at eye level. I packed my things that day. I told myself I was leaving because the house wasn't safe, because the road would be impassable soon, because it was time. But deep down, I knew I was running. That night, I slept in my truck at the edge of town. Sometime after midnight, I woke up. There was snow on the hood. And at the edge of the parking lot, under a flickering streetlight, stood a shape I recognized. Not fully formed, not finished, but close enough. I don't go back to the hills in winter anymore. I sold the house in spring. Sometimes, when it snows heavy and the night is quiet, I still wake up expecting to hear that slow, deliberate crunch. And I wonder how close it gets before you notice.